Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today we are going to be going over some of the headlines that has hit the cigar industry lately, and just kind of giving a general update about a few other things. But first, let's find out what I'm smoking. So today, I will be firing up the 2023 Solamente from All Saints Cigars. It is a 5-inch by 58 cigar featuring an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, and fillers from Honduras and Nicaragua. This cigar was limited. It came out in October of last year and was limited to 500 boxes of 23 cigars. And I have one here for me to smoke right now. And so it's time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. 2 Guys has been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows 2 Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and great customer service. What more could you possibly want from a cigar website? Please go to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase and tell them the Cigar Pulpit sent you. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. So, I'm going to cut the cigar here. Going to give a nice straight cut to that. And I will say, so 2guyscigars.com, I want to thank them for sponsoring the cut now. You're going to be hearing about them. And guys, I will say, I am a frequent user of 2guyscigars.com. I not only get the Cigar Authority show pack through 2guyscigars.com, but there's a number of times that I have bought cigars to have on the show here, and they just have a wonderful selection. And the folks over there at the warehouse, they get everything packed up super wonderfully. It comes very, very well packed. I mean, they care about the product arriving to you safely, and it arrives quickly. Like, I mean, I get an email when it ships, and then I get another email when it's, like in process and everything. I mean, it's days, mere days, and that's because I choose the cheaper shipping. I mean, realistically, if you wanted to like really go crazy, you could probably get it even quicker than even I do. But honestly, on the cheapest shipping level, I get it super quick. So, highly recommend 2guyscigars.com. So, now we're going to do a cold draw on the Solamente. And there is a touch of some sort of a dried fruit sweetness. It's kind of like, but it's not raisin, maybe plum. I don't know. It's something. It's very subtle. Whatever it is, it's very, very subtle. So anyway, I'm gonna fire this guy up now. So yeah, guys, today this has been a hell of a week. I'm gonna give you guys an insight into my life here for a moment while I light this cigar. This has been a hell of a week. So I thought I had a house. But damned if the inspection didn't come through the way I wanted it to, and because of that, the process has basically restarted. And so having to start fresh, having to start from scratch. And that's unfortunate because I really, really was looking forward to this one, man. This was going to be, I had a space already for a studio and all kinds of stuff. It was going to be nice. But unfortunately, life has a way of having changes take place, and so, and I guess this is why you pay for an inspection. This is why, you actually pay for an inspection and have somebody come in and root around all through the house, and, they find things. And anyway, it is what it is. I'm on to the next one. But it's been a roller coaster of a week. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of time. It's been 14 years since I've gone through a home inspection. I don't remember them taking all flippin' day practically, but I was at this thing for like 3 hours, and it was a long time. But on a very busy day for me normally, with newspaper layout and stuff, so it was kind of a long day. But anyway, so yeah, that process. So we had the inspection didn't go well, so then I had to implement the process of backing out of the deal. That takes a little bit of time, trying to figure out if I'm going to get earnest money back and all that fun stuff. So anyway, that's been my week. Trying to figure all that out. I tried to have a guest for today, but I'll be honest, part of it was my schedule and part of it was other people's schedules, and it just didn't work out. So it's all right, but that's okay. I figure I will have somebody for Tuesday though. So today we have some cigar news to go over, and that's something easy. That's something I can do, and I have a little bit of thoughts on some of it. So, first things first, the Solamente here. It's smoking all right. I need to get it. I don't know. It almost feels like, because it's a 5x58, it's kind of a fat Robusto. It's kind of difficult. Or maybe it's just this one. I don't know. I'm sure Mickey Peggy's probably going to scream at me about, he's like, you just user error. You don't know what the hell you're doing. So, and that's very well possible, I suppose. Anyway, so yeah, why don't we go ahead and just jump into the cigar news. So, first thing up, we have Robert and Sharon Holt of Southern Draw Cigars. And they announced on their Instagram, I guess technically this morning, it'd be this morning, because I'm recording Thursday for Friday, that they want to publicly announce that they are interested in selling their stake in Southern Draw Cigars. And they basically said in the post that it's a combination of personal factors, changes within the industry, and all that, and it's kind of prompted them to start discussing, bailing out. And he specifically says the burden of, quote, serious health concerns and anticipated health-related costs at home. So I really do hope that there's nothing major going on. It sounds like there kind of is, but thoughts and well wishes do go out to Robert and Sharon over there at Southern Draw Cigars. We've had Robert on the show. It's been a while. It's been a minute. But I have had Robert on the show before, and he's a super nice guy. Southern Draw, personal opinion. 100% my personal opinion. Southern Draw is one of those brands that I feel like it's kind of hit that glass ceiling of where it can go with the sales force it has. You got Robert out on the road constantly pushing it and everything. I'm sure there's brokers that are pushing it too, but it just feels like it just is struggling to get its feet underneath it to like kind of go to that next level, to advance to the next level and continue onward. So perhaps if they sell, a bigger company might be able to take it and do more with the brand. And there's a lot of sales going on. There's a lot of purchasing going on these days. It was a year ago, a little over a year ago, that Alec Bradley was purchased by General, or forged, I guess technically. So maybe Southern Draw is one that General or Davidoff or somebody would be interested in purchasing. You never know. I think they actually work with Davidoff. Don't quote me on that, but I think Southern Draw actually works with Davidoff, because Southern Draw, they don't have their own factory, they don't have their own rollers and everything. They, it's one of those deals where he owns the brand and then they get the cigars from some. So I think they work with Davidoff, but anyway, so no, they did say that they would be interested in maintaining a minority stake in the company, so that they could continue blending, producing, branding, and being involved. But that wouldn't be a requirement for the sale. So obviously, they don't. I get the feeling they don't want to bail, but I feel like life is probably forcing them to, and that's unfortunate. But anyway, again, we wish all the best to Robert and Sharon. If they're wanting out, I hope somebody takes you up on it. I hope you don't get screwed in the process, and I hope that whatever these health concerns that you're referring to are minor or can be dealt with quickly. So anyway, moving on in the news. Next up, Villiger has released its newest limited release called the number 41. That is heading to stores. So Villiger, they did a limited release last year, and that was a cigar featuring a Mexican San Andreas over an Ecuadorian Habano binder and fillers from Nicaragua. That one was a Toro. This one, which is the number 41, is a Petite Robusto that features an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper over Dominican binder and Dominican fillers. This cigar, it's going to be a Robusto, but it's got what they're referring to as a 109 style cap, which is a hybrid between the rounded cap of a cigar and the pointed tip of a Bellicoso. So it's kind of a stubby point, stubby, rounded, kind of pointy thing. But anyway, it's a 4 3/4 by 52 Petite Robusto, and MSRP on that is set at $20. Production is limited to 4,000 cigars. This one is it has a blue and white band. The limited edition last year had a red and white band, and supposedly the different color bands are to signify the different factories that they're made of. So the ones from the red and white are made at Villiger de Nicaragua, while the ones made at what is the name of this factory here? ABAM. I don't know. I missed. I thought I had my notes all taken care of, but ABAM. That's going to have a blue and gold band, so that way you know what factory it comes from. And also the number 41 refers to the number of the shelf in the aging room where the cigars were stored. So, I think it's fun to know like kind of the background of like where they get their names, that kind of thing. Boy, so far, I will admit I'm doing a lot of talking, not doing a lot of puffing, but I'm having trouble keeping the Solamente going. So I need to be probably a bit more conscious of that as we go here. Which I know Ed hates these because of the pregnant pauses. So I'm sorry, Ed Sullivan, but I didn't want to bug you again so soon. So I figured I'd go ahead and just do this one. So anyway, moving on to our next news item here, which actually is going to piggyback on another news item. So first things first, All Saints Cigars, which, is it ironic we're smoking an All Saints Solamente? I don't think so. All Saints Cigars has announced this week that they are lowering prices by 10% across the company's entire portfolio of products. They said that the changes went into effect this would have been on Wednesday the 15th. Basically, Mickey Pegg said that they decided that they wanted to draw the line and go cheap, not cheaper, but they wanted to take back some price increases, take back some of the price on their cigars, because let's be real, there's been a lot of price increases in the industry post-COVID. and they said that they want to make sure that they're putting out a good product at a good price. All Saints has committed to working with retail accounts to make sure they are compensated for any recently purchased inventory. So if you're a retailer and let's say you just went heavy on All Saints cigars at the old price, well, yeah, no, sucks to be you a little bit. But All Saints is going to work with you to figure out how that goes. So make sure you reach out to All Saints. They did give an email address in their press release, and of course I'm not seeing it here, about where you can reach out to them and get that taken care of. Hang on. Anyway, so it's one of those things that they are going to they're going to reduce the prices, which as a consumer, I appreciate that. Anytime I can get a good cigar at a cheaper price, I'm going to be all about that. For retailers, yeah, you know what? You do have to reach out to All Saints and figure out how you can get this squared away. Because let's say you have cigars on the shelf that you purchased previously. Spam risk. Let's say you have cigars on the shelf that you bought previously at the old price. Are you expected to reduce the price on those cigars and take less of a margin on them? Or are you okay with leaving the price as it is? But the thing is, then the shop down the road might reduce the price. That kind of thing. I mean, that it's tricky when stuff like this takes place. Because you don't want to lose money on product you already purchased and spent to put on your shelf. So, yeah, there's going to have to definitely be some conversations, I think, with his retail partners. But I'm sure Mickey will figure it out. Now, one thing that I find interesting, so you have that going on. But then at the same time, in another news point, and I won't play the little sound for this one, Rocky Patel has reduced prices on some of the vintage lines. So effective June 1st of 2024, Rocky Patel is reducing the prices of the vintage 1990, vintage 1992, and vintage 1999 lines by 5%. All three of those blends are produced at STG Denali. Denali. That's the car. Donley. Anyway, those three lines, they're all also offered in the same size and priced the same. A Petite Corona has an MSRP of $8.85, while the 6x60 retails for $13.30. These changes are not going to affect the vintage 2003 and vintage 2006 lines. They are made by Plasencia and Tavacuza. Okay. Anyway, the bottom line, though, is you have two companies, and admittedly, All Saints and Rocky, they do work together. Rocky produces the cigars for All Saints, but I don't think their price decreases are necessarily tied together. I personally think what it really boils down to is both of these guys are looking at the state of the industry right now and realizing, shit, people don't have the money to be buying, more expensive cigars, and they need to reduce those prices. I mean, no disrespect whatsoever to Rocky, but $13 for a vintage, be it 1990, 1992, or 1999. That's, and I realize it's 6x60, but it's not a $13 stick, man. You need in a perfect world, you'd be bringing some of those back down under $10. I don't know what 5% is going to actually do. In terms of an MSRP, I don't believe it's going to take a 6x60 sub $10, but it might help out on the Toro and some of the other sizes to where we can see a little bit of a savings. I think these brands, Dave Garofalo has talked about the McAuliffe effect and various things like that. I really do believe that a lot of these brands have seen that raising prices the last few years is biting them in the ass now. Let's be real. There were a lot of cigar smokers that came up and smoked a little heavier during COVID. We've talked about that. Post-COVID, there were a lot of people that continued on with cigars that started during COVID or smoked more during COVID. But it's 2024. We've had a couple of years of, God, I struggle to call what we're living in right now normalcy. But, we've had a couple of years of close to normalcy. And I think that a lot of these brands are realizing that they can't get these higher prices for these cigars because, quite frankly, the demand's not there anymore. And then also the economy isn't there. I know I personally don't have the money to be going out and spending, high dollar for cigars that I used to be able to get for a reasonable price. It's just not. Everything costs more, and cigars are luxury. So, I don't know. Hopefully, they kind of recognize and acknowledge that and go from there. So, anyway, final news item of the day. So, this one irritates the piss out of me. So, Minneapolis has one cigar lounge, Anthony's Pipe and Cigar Lounge. Okay? Now, Anthony's Pipe and Cigar Lounge has a problem. They have a big problem now. So there was a piece of legislation that was signed May 1st in Minneapolis. And according to this legislation, you cannot smoke a cigar indoors at a cigar shop for more than 15 minutes. Basically, what the city council is allowing is what they call sampling. So let's say I went into Anthony's Pipe and Cigar, and I saw the All Saints Solamente on the shelf. And I'm like, I want to buy that. So I buy it, and I fire it up, just like I would at my lounge, any other lounge, right? After 15 minutes, I either have to go outside or I have to put it out. Because I'm not allowed to smoke for more than 15 minutes in a 60-minute period of time inside that cigar lounge. And they also, in this same legislation, they raised prices on all tobacco goods, excluding vapes. For the most part, premium cigars were spared from the new price hikes, which, for example, mandate a single cigar to sell for no less than $3.75, which, that doesn't impact very many cigars these days, not ones that you're finding at, cigar lounges. Cigarettes were significantly increased. You're looking at about $15 a pack there, which, according to this article, says that it's one of the highest in the country. The biggest impact on cigars is the new prohibition on smoking indoors, regulating puffing to only 15 minutes, barely enough time to enjoy half of a petite Corona. It's part of the Minnesota Clean Indoor Air Act, and Minneapolis is basically the one pushing this. So you have a maximum of 15 minutes during a single visit, or a maximum of 15 minutes during any 60-minute period when sampling a cigar. Now, here's my question. What do we constitute a single visit as? Because let's say I go in and I do buy, a cigar. And let's say I fire it up and I enjoy 15 minutes worth of it inside. And then let's say I go out to my car. I drive around the block. I repark and I walk back inside. Do I get another 15 minutes? Because it's now a second visit. I moved my vehicle. Giant pain in the ass. And I want to know, I don't know what the marijuana legality is in Minnesota and Minneapolis, but kind of makes you wonder there, what the rules are regarding that. But it's just this is just another absolutely bullshit, ridiculous thing to hurt people like you and me that are sitting out enjoying our cigars and not hurting anybody. It's also hurting small. It's government coming after small business, and that's what really does irritate me with this. Is there's obviously the coming after the consumer, but the consumer, I feel like, is caught in the middle here. This is them targeting the only cigar lounge in Minneapolis. Anthony's apparently is the only one that you can sit and enjoy a cigar. And I personally kind of find that weird, to be honest, because Minneapolis, while it's not like a giant city, it's not an insignificant, city either. I do find it weird that they only have one cigar lounge in the city, but who am I? Maybe it's because they're so cigar unfriendly that nobody else, wants to start one up. But anyway, that's something to be concerned about. So if you're in the Minneapolis area, Anthony's Cigars or Anthony's Pipe and Cigar, they need your help. If you live actually in the city, reach out to your council member and be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Start coming after them. I mean, look, guys, I worked in politics. I worked 8 years. I was in politics for a while. And the only thing that a politician fears is losing their job by being voted out. They fear losing elections. They fear opponents, too, by the way. It's not even necessarily the fear of losing. Just somebody going on the ballot against them, you live rent-free in their head, man. I mean, for a year or better, they are flipping out, doing everything they can. You're making them spend money that they don't want to spend. They're spending time they don't want to spend doing things. So if you just want to fuck with a politician, put your name on. Figure out the method by which to put your name on the ballot and run against somebody, and that alone will just jack their life all to hell for a little while. But if you actually want to pursue and go go for it. And I'm not saying cigars are necessarily the platform you should pursue in that regard, but I do think that we all need to be getting more engaged. I think that if this piece of legislation was coming up before the Minneapolis City Council, I know how city councils work. There's committee meetings. Things come up for multiple readings. I mean, this was coming up for a month or better, before it finally hit. And we're finding out about it now after it's a done deal. It's already signed. So, and it's a lot harder to stop something after it's already been put into effect than catching it in the legislative process when it could be killed, during that. So realistically, I feel bad for Anthony's because they should have been paying attention, and everybody in Minneapolis should have been paying attention. So this is a good warning for everybody. Start paying attention to what is coming up on your city council agendas. I say it time and time and time again. City councils impact your life way more than Congress and the federal government does. Pay attention to what your city council is doing because they are the ones that are imposing bullshit rules and everything. Look at the flavor bans. Flavor bans and not even flavor bans. These partially flavor bans, but these generational selling bans that we've talked about on the show before. That's starting at city council level, and what happens is it then expands out to other cities, and before long the state goes ahead and adopts it, and then from there multiple states do, and then eventually the federal government does. If you stop it at the small level where it's easy to do, you can affect change. Go to when you I can guarantee you, whether you know it or not, and the reason you don't know it is because you're not paying attention, you don't know who they are, and you don't know what they look like. But I can guarantee you when you're at restaurants or the grocery store or Target or wherever you happen to be, you're passing somebody at some point in your day that is connected to or on your local governing board. And so, be an effective citizen and lobby them when you see them. If you see a city council member, buying their milk at the grocery store, walk up to him and be like, hey, don't fuck with my cigars. Maybe don't say exactly that, but be logical. Just be like, I see that you're taking up a position against cigars. And I would highly, encourage you to do some research about the medical effects and the lack thereof of cigars on humans versus cigarettes and various other things. You seem to have lumped cigars in with other tobacco types, and there are court cases that literally will tell you that should not be the way it is, that cigars are a totally different product used by a totally different in a totally different way and impact users in a significantly more negligible way than cigarettes or vapes or anything like that. Just be logical about it. Be smart and approach them and tell them this stuff. And also encourage your other cigar smoking buddies to do the same. And go to the meetings. Say the same shit during public comment. They have a whole section on the agenda for public comment for you to be able to get up and address the board and express your comments. So take advantage of these opportunities. Don't sit back and bitch after it happens. Take advantage of the opportunities when it happens. And hopefully there's enough of you that maybe your voices can be heard. I will say this. Politicians, all it takes is for them to hear something out in the community 4, 5 times maybe. If they hear something 4 or 5 times, holy shit, man, they're coming back to their staff and they're telling them, everybody's talking about this. Everybody is talking about this. We have to get on this. This is the hot button. It only takes a couple. It really does. It does not take as many people as you think. You don't need to pack a city council chamber with 250 people. If you can, that is amazing. But if you can get 20 people to show up at a city council meeting and address an issue and talk about it, awesome. Do it. That will be effective. It may not go your way. May not. But at least you can say you tried. Because right now, I don't know if anybody tried to stop Minneapolis from screwing over Anthony's, but they did. And it's wrong, and it sucks, and it's a lot harder to put the Jack in the Box back in the box. But I encourage Anthony's to try. But anyway, that's my rant. I saw that, and it was like, this is another clear example of how, we need to be lobbying and effective for our hobby ourselves. Because, this article quoted Glenn Loop from PCA. And Glenn's been on the show a number of times talking about his efforts, in Washington and various state levels and that sort of thing. And I think Glenn has done a very fine job. However, Glenn is one man. And Glenn cannot worry about every single level of government. He's already worrying about the federal government and 50 states. That's a lot of government to keep track of just right there. Then when you add in counties and cities and villages and townships and all these other little units of government that you have below state level government, there's no way. There's absolutely no way that he or PCA can keep track of every single little thing. It is up to us. It is up to the consumer, and it is also up to the retailer. I would actually encourage the retailers to be the spearhead on this. Retailers, this is your livelihood. This is your business. Let me tell you, if somebody was putting forth a piece of legislation that was going to, outlaw newspapers, you damn well better believe I would know about it right away, and I would be at the council meeting talking about it and addressing it before it passed. I would not be sitting back and waiting to hear from somebody, oh, by the way, did you hear they outlawed newspapers the other night? That's not the way this works. This is your livelihood. This is your business. And if you are a retailer and you are not paying attention to what the government is doing about your industry, then heaven help you. That is a simple thing. And I understand that there's not enough hours in the day for all the shit you have to do with your business already. So this is just one more thing. But this is the thing that keeps you in business. You know? And, you know, maybe this is a moment where, sorry, I let the cigar go out, and it's going to take me a minute. Maybe this is a moment where your state if your state doesn't have some sort of a coalition or group of cigar retailers that work together. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to create something like that, and you know, get everybody on board so that you as a group can assign, you know, share the load. You know, everybody doesn't have to be monitoring everything if some people are monitoring some things and some are monitoring other things. At that point, everybody, it's all covered. It's all being watched. It's just, you know, not all having to be done by one person. And but you can all come together when something does come up. You know, how much more effective would this have been? How much more effective would this have been if Anthony's would have known that this is coming, and maybe they did, maybe they lobbied against it. I do not know the answer to that. I actually would very much like to speak to the owner of Anthony's and have him on the show to discuss this. But you know, if let's say this was a surprise, then they should have been on top of it. And how much more effective would it have been if they would have been able to come in to the council meeting and present during public comment, present all of the research that has been vetted through court action, for God's sakes, against the FDA, talking about how different cigars are from other tobacco products, and how they're not hurting anybody. Also, they can talk about all the tax revenue that they bring into the city of Minneapolis, and how by doing this, you're going to be impacting, you know, the revenue that the city brings in from your business. You know, talk about how many people you employ, and how, you know, you're now impacting these employees' livelihoods and things of that nature. I mean, there's a strong case for fighting this stuff. And how much also better would it have been if, while Anthony's is making this case before the city council, maybe there would be, I don't know, 8 or 9 other cigar lounge owners from all around the state standing in lockstep behind him, all ready to say, you know, just how important their businesses are to their community, and how, you know, Minneapolis needs to not be picking on Anthony's. I'm just saying, it all comes together in a very well-oiled way if everybody stops worrying about individual fiefdoms and, you know, competition here and competition there, and starts worrying about the betterment of their industry. Because the rising tide, it lifts all ships, but the sinking tide beaches everybody. And at some point, if they're coming for your neighbor, if they're coming for your competition, they're going to come after you at some point, you know. So, yeah, Anthony's might be the only lounge in Minneapolis, but just watch, you know, how many other cities in Minnesota are going to decide to put in a 15-minute sampling rule, to where now how many other lounges in Minneapolis or Minnesota are going to be impacted by this. I don't know. So that's what I got. Anyway, got the Solamente fired back up here. It's smoking well. Little chimney. I will say, despite the fact that I've been talking so damn much, my burn line has stayed really straight. It is a very flaky ash. That could be part of the reason. That could be due to the fact that I'm speaking or talking so much and not really just actually dedicated to smoking it. But definitely some pepper on the retro ale. It does come across as a medium-bodied cigar so far. Again, I'm not very far into the thing because I have been talking so much, but, you know, we'll see. Let's do this now. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. Brought to you by Villiger. Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So, this episode, in terms of what I've been entertained by, I'm going to nerd for a moment. I did finish watching X-Men 97 on Disney+. I'll say it again. If you're of my age and you watched the X-Men cartoon back in the 90s, this thing was tailor-made for... If you liked it, this thing was tailor-made for you. It's a nice continuation. A lot of good drama. A lot of good drama. I mean, you know, it nailed the X-Men because the X-Men, it's superheroes. But the X-Men, on the flip side, though, there's so much soap opera-ish drama involved in that franchise that they really got that nailed. So anyway, I did enjoy that. Also, what else was I entertained by in terms of podcasts? The Smokin' Butts and Tappin' Ash podcast came back this week. They took a month off because of various commitments they had that were it was just too much time. But they came back this Wednesday, and they reviewed I think he said it was like a jalapeno gyro rub. It was like a gyro spice for Greek food. But it had some like pepper component to it, like jalapeno, kind of pepper component to it. So that was interesting to hear that review. But yeah, if you're into barbecue, if you're into that kind of thing, the Smokin' Butts and Tappin' Ash podcast, it's back. They're doing their thing, and you can go and give them a listen. Travis offered to help Scott P. That was my takeaway from it. So, I mean, and he can say that that's not what he meant, but it's kind of right there on tape, buddy. It's right there, out in the world for everybody. So, there you go, Travis. Anyway, otherwise, I have been busy. Like I said, I'm house hunting. And it's failing. But that's okay. We're making it happen. We're seeing what happens here. So, you never know. The good things come to those who wait, and we go from there. But now, I wanted to also discuss something else. So, I've been seeing pictures. People are starting to get their fucking good cigars. And guys, I have in my little tumbler here quite a bit. It's really full. By God, that's some fucking good coffee. And if you want to try one of the multiple blends of fucking good coffee, you need to head on over to fuckinggoodcoffee.com. It's not just good coffee, it's fucking good coffee. And you don't want to be, stop drinking bad coffee. It's embarrassing. Don't do it. Put down that jar of Folgers that you got going there, and you can get a nice subscription to fucking good coffee. You can subscribe and save. It's a nice little deal. Just go to fucking good coffee. But they have all kinds of different blends. I'm using the lounge coffee because the lounge coffee goes perfect with any cigar. It works out really well. He's got all kinds of different blends, guys. He goes everything from light roast to medium roast, dark roast, espresso. You're gonna wanna give it a shot and give it a try. But head on over to fuckinggoodcoffee.com. Quit drinking bad coffee. Get the fucking good. Don't be a fucker. Drink the fucking good. So, that's that. Anyway, in terms of the socials, I am available on Instagram. Can you guys tell there's been a few changes that have happened since the last episode? I'm flying on the seat of my pants here. So, anyway, in terms of the socials, I'm available on Instagram at The Cigar Pulpit. I'm available on Facebook with The Cigar Pulpit Parishioners Group. It's a closed group, but you can request to sign in, and then you can be part of the fun. Twitter/X, I don't really do a lot there. Should do more. YouTube, where you can watch this. And, the other big news. Pulpit Fest is sold out. So we have officially have all of the tickets for Pulpit Fest committed. So at this point, you no longer need to go to eventbrite.com. If you are just absolutely 100%, oh my God, I have to be there, I'm going to be there, I just didn't get my ticket reserved, oh my God, I already have my hotel reserved, but I don't have my ticket reserved, something like that, reach out to me, Nick at O'Fallon. I'm giving my other, my newspaper email, Nick at cigarpulpit.com. Reach out at nick@cigarpulpit.com and just tell me, hey, dude, I needed to get a ticket and I didn't get a ticket. And we'll see what can be done. But there is a hard head count for this because Ken does have a capacity limit. And while I understand that we're not probably all going to be there at the exact same, not all of us at the exact same time, maybe more than in the evening at one point, there is a chance of that. And so I have to, keep that in mind. And also, goodie bags. There's only so many things for goodie bags and things of that nature. So anyway, yes, if you are interested, reach out. I'll see what I can do. But at this point, Pulpit Fest 2024 is sold out. So otherwise, I am enjoying the Solamente. I will say, it's kind of unfortunate because on these solo shows, I can't really give a full review because I'm talking, and unless you want to sit here in silence with me as I smoke, I can't get through the cigar in the amount of time that I would normally. So anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm sure there's probably more about it I would enjoy if I had the proper time to tell you. So anyway, guys, I appreciate it. I know the solo shows are they're not my favorite. I'm sure that I'm hoping that I brought a little something to you guys, but we're gonna have a lot of fun Tuesday. There's some stuff going on this weekend that I hopefully will get a nice good episode out of. So we'll go from there. But anyway, guys, thank you for everything. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends, enemies, whatever. Just help me out. Tell people. So anyway, guys, this has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe and stay smoky.